All right, guys, today is the day we are getting that big ass Nintendo Direct that we've been wanting for so long. We've been wanting one back in February, March, and we didn't get it. But we are getting a big one here in E3 season. And my expectations, I tend to try to keep my expectations low. That being said, it's kind of hard to keep them low when we've gone how many months now without a big general Nintendo Direct. So yeah, it's been since September, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting that wrong. But it was definitely the end of summer, early fall that we got our last Nintendo Direct. And I thought it was pretty good, but that's a pretty long time. And this Nintendo Direct that's going to be airing in just a couple of hours or so is said to be about 50 minutes long. I would prefer 1 hour long, just an extra 10 minutes. So it's a little bit weird that's only 50 minutes, but, if they're not wasting too much time on one game, giving a game 5 or 10 minutes, then we're good. I mean, if we're getting games that are getting about 3 to 4 minutes long and whatnot, then they could definitely announce a lot of cool stuff. They could announce a lot of gnarly stuff in this Nintendo Direct if they do everything right with the pacing and whatnot. One of my biggest gripes with the Nintendo Direct that from last year, showing off the Nintendo Direct, showing off the Switch 2 and the games for it, there was a moment in it where they spent way too much damn time on Mario Party. It was just, here's the new Mario Party Switch 2 edition and the voice chat, and I was like, okay, we don't have to spend 5 minutes on this. They spent too much time on that, I remember, and I got really pissed off. I'm just like, can you please show us more first-party games? There's got to be more than just this. Hopefully they don't do that this time around. Hopefully we're not looking at, freaking Mario Party for 10 damn minutes straight. Really hope that doesn't happen. I hope they don't waste too much time on third-party games. I do not want them wasting my time showing a bunch of third-party games coming to the Switch 2. Yeah, we get it. We're getting a bunch of third-party games. First party is the power of Nintendo. It always has been, always will be. We just had Xbox recently. Recently, Xbox is pretty much, trying to get the message out there that they are now going back to exclusivity. So, good for them. Good for them, even though they have some games that are still going to PlayStation 5 pretty soon. Very stupid of them to have done all of that in the first place. That was effing retarded, but yeah, they're going to be going back to exclusivity now. So it's quite evident that first party and exclusivity really does sell a system. All of the morons out there that I've been arguing with saying that, it wasn't good for Xbox to keep their games exclusive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, how's that working out? Because now Xbox realizes that, their systems weren't selling, and so now they're going back to exclusivity. Anyways, not to go on a tangent there, but yeah, big Direct coming up real soon. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm definitely going to be watching it live. Usually I'd be training by now, working out, but I'm like, yeah, I got to catch this live, it's my day off, so let me catch it live, and I can't wait to see what they're going to show. I'm really hoping for, obviously, I would love the next big Mario, next big Zelda game. However, when it comes to Nintendo, I get way more excited when they bring back dormant franchises, more so than just here's the next big Mario, here's the next big Zelda, right? I get way more excited for dormant franchises making their return. So if I see a new F-Zero game, a big new F-Zero game, that would greatly excite me. If they bring back Punch-Out, that would greatly excite me. I'm super excited and happy that Star Fox is coming back, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever, and it's gonna have a better art style than every other Star Fox game before it. So that's the kind of person I am. I want to see Wario make his return, a 3D mainline Wario game. One that's very similar. I mean, if they make some type of open world, sandbox open world or Wario game that's, basically like a crime simulator, that would be so freaking awesome. I really hope they do something like that. A mainline Kirby game. All right, Kirby, I know they've always been consistent with putting out Kirby games, but I want to see the next big mainline Kirby game, or at the very least, I want to see free DLC, or maybe not even free. I'd go with paid DLC as well, but DLC content added in for Kirby Air Riders. I feel like more characters would be nice, more abilities, more modes. You know, if they add like some type of multiplayer version of the road trip mode, I think that would be really awesome. But I want them to continue supporting that game. I want them to support that game and add more content, because that is a game that should be selling way better. But unfortunately, we got stupid people in the gaming community. Most video gamers are fake as hell. They're not really gamers. They're all about hype. They're all about rumors. They're all about popularity and what game has the biggest name attached to it. And that's all they want to talk about. And we've seen in the past year, we've seen ever since that game was released, you just had so many idiots saying, I don't know how to feel about this game. It's made for the niche audience. It's not a big popular game. It's like, why the hell does that even matter? What does that have to do with the gameplay? What does that have to do with the content in the game? Absolutely nothing. So I'm hoping just for the couple of million people who have a fucking brain who actually bought that game, they would say, hey, here's more content for you guys. Here's more content for you guys to enjoy. So I do hope Kirby gets a lot of representation in this upcoming Nintendo Direct, but I really want a big mainline Kirby game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was awesome. It was so fun. It was really cool, you know, saving all of these, you know, different Waddle Dees and bringing them back to the village so that way the population of that town gets bigger, more buildings are added. I really like that. I like what they did there. The only downside, I think, to Kirby and the Forgotten Land was they didn't have like a fighter ability. They lacked abilities compared to a game like Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which was more fun to play because of the abilities and the weapons that they had in it. It was better as far as gameplay goes. But Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you know, it's more intriguing in its story and its world exploration. It's not an open world game or anything, but it's fun, you know. It's fun going through those missions, through those big worlds, you know. So yeah, I'm really hoping we get a really big mainline Kirby game, one that might be similar to Planet Robobot, but it's like 3D instead of 2D, and maybe with like giant monsters in it instead this time around, some kaijus and things like that. I think that would be really awesome. I want to see a real-time strategy game be shown in this Nintendo Direct. I think that, you know, because of the fact that, you know, you can detach the Joy-Cons and you could use them as mouse controls, it's got mouse functionality, we should be getting more real-time strategy games. I would love for them to announce, hey, look, Command & Conquer coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Here's the Command & Conquer Red Alert trilogy. Here's Command & Conquer Generals. Here's Warhammer 40K. You know, we need to get more games like that. If Nintendo was to make their own real-time strategy, that would be super freaking awesome. That would really be awesome if they make their own. I really hope they do something like that. What a missed opportunity it would be if they don't create their own real-time strategy game. And just to let you guys know what a real-time strategy game is, it's not like a Sid Meier's Civilization where you're building, but you're taking turns. No, it's you're building bases, you're building armies, and you're doing it real time. Your enemy is doing it in real time. There's no taking turns, waiting for the other player to finish building his buildings, and now it's your turn. No, it is real time, all right? There's no turn base in it. So we definitely need more games like that. Definitely need more games like that. I would honestly be happy to see DLC added for Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I think like it would be so cool to have New Donk City put in it, added in. I think it would be awesome if there was like some type of King K. Rool invasion added to it, you know, where you're basically having to fight hordes of Kremlin trying to invade different areas of the map. I think that would be cool. It's like, oh, here's these areas are being invaded. You got to fight them, and oh, right now they're targeting this area. You have to get inside the Ellie or whatever and transport over there really quick. I think something like that would be fun. That would definitely add more to do in the game, give it more replay value. So I hope they do that. I really feel like that game deserves more content added to it. It's probably one of the best games to play besides Kirby Air Riders on the Nintendo Switch 2. And of course, speaking of Donkey Kong, I would like some type of Donkey Kong sports game. I think a Donkey Kong football / rugby game would be great. So some kind of really good sports game. Mario Tennis Fever was actually really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. The story mode could have been a little bit longer, but it was pretty fun. It had a lot of cool things to do, a lot of mini games. It was a pretty good game, solid game, I would say. Pretty competitive as well. The mechanics go pretty deep, if you ask me. So that was a good game. I just wish they would do more than just Mario. I don't think Mario's the only character that they should be doing sports games around. You know, have Donkey Kong have his own spin-off sports games as well, or even Wario. You know, why isn't there like a Wario wrestling game? That would be super dope. Now, another thing that would be cool is if they start developing games for the Virtual Boy, you know, actual new Virtual Boy games, not, you know, bringing back old ones, classics, whatever. They brought some, you know, Virtual Boy games that are in color, full color. That would be pretty cool. I think that would be awesome. That would be a good way to sell that accessory more to people. Now, as far as like Switch 2 editions of games, obviously I want to see Metroid Dread get a Switch 2 edition. I feel like they really need to do that and add multiplayer to it if possible. I'm getting sick and tired of Metroid games not having multiplayer. That's something that just doesn't make any lick of sense to me whatsoever. So hopefully pretty soon they start to do something like that. I would love it if they announce some spin-off multiplayer Metroid game, like some Metroid game that kind of plays similar to Battalion Wars. That would be awesome. They need to start doing more spin-offs for that franchise, for that series. It can't just be the same 2D Metroid game and then Metroid Prime. They got to do more, okay? Mario has so much variety in it. Legend of Zelda even has a lot of variety. I mean, you got the Hyrule Warriors games. Why isn't there like some type of survival shooter Metroid game, right? Considering all the monsters that it has and whatnot. They can do so much more to get that franchise more popular, and they just haven't been doing it. So let's hope that they actually do that. Let's hope we get something like that. And lastly, let's talk about the potential of them announcing more features for Nintendo Online. I really hope they bring back the Miiverse. For those who don't know what the Miiverse is, that was basically like Nintendo's own little. It was like a Nintendo community that they had on the Nintendo Wii U, where basically each game had its own like page, its own dedicated community. So for example, I was playing 007 Legends back then, and yeah, I used to go on there after playing multiplayer and bragging about my wins, bragging about how good I was, whatever. And then, you know, some people will come at me and be like, oh, it's because you're spamming this damn grenade launcher and all this. It was so fun. And you could take screenshots from the game when playing it and post it and then just leave a comment regarding it. It was so freaking cool. The Miiverse was awesome. Now, the only downside was it was ridiculously strict. You could get censored pretty quickly, pretty easily if you're using foul language or if you're insulting people or people reporting you. All that stuff, all that nonsense. But it was still really fun. The Miiverse was one of the best things on the Wii U, and I cannot understand why they did not bring that freaking back to the Nintendo Switch. That was really stupid. They need to bring that back to the Switch too, and to the Switch. Both of them, but like both have to have the Miiverse integrated. So hopefully they bring back the Miiverse. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was on the 3DS as well. Don't quote me on it, but I think the 3DS had the Miiverse. Now, they could bring back the Miiverse, and they could improve it a little bit by actually allowing us to get at least, 15 or 30 seconds of gameplay or whatever that we could record. And we could pretty much just use that and caption it and say something, leave comments, whatever. I think that would be really cool. But that was a really cool thing. And maybe they could do something to where, you could even interact with people locally. They could show you who's really close to you, which players live nearby. That would really be good if you're trying to find more friends that are into Nintendo or into the same games as you that are local. Now, as far as achievements goes, I'm going to say this. Achievements are overrated, extremely overrated. Nobody cares about what you've done. Oh, you got 30 headshots in this game. Nobody cares. I'm just going to say that. You think people care, or you think it's awesome to brag about whatever achievement you got from whatever video game you're playing on your Xbox, on your PlayStation. Nobody gives a shit. It gives you the false sense of accomplishment. It makes any boring game feel fun. It's like, oh, well, I could play any shitty ass game as long as I unlock achievements for it. It's like, no, that doesn't actually make the game fun. It really doesn't. And I'm just here to break your feelings and tell you that nobody cares about what achievements you've gotten. So I'm not that big when it comes to, Nintendo adding achievements or whatever. But as far as the Miiverse goes, like an achievement, something like to basically highlight you doing a really awesome moment, doing something really crazy in the game to post about on a Miiverse, I think that would be cool. Something like that. Maybe just posting your stats of how many kills you've gotten, whatever, things like that, but not like, you get you unlocked some type of achievement. It's got a fancy little title to it, and this was for getting 100 or 500 kills in the game. Stuff like that, like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. But posting your actual stats and showing, oh, look, you're actually in the top 50 of best players who've played this game or something like that, or a top 10, or look, you're number 1 on this game. You got the best stats playing this game, even if it's not multiplayer, even if it's in a single player campaign. That I think would be more ideal. I think that would be way better than, all these random things like, you crouched 20 times, stuff like that. It's like, it's so pointless to me. But yeah, they definitely need to add more stuff to Nintendo Switch Online, and I really hope they do so. And as a matter of fact, if you guys have forgotten, not too long ago, probably more than a year ago at this point, there was that weird beta that Nintendo put out there for people to get in and play, and people were describing this game as like Spider-Man, where you're web slinging, it's open world, and it seems to be more of a social interactive game. I can't remember what the hell it was. Like, I think people were saying there were cavemen in it. There was something weird that Nintendo had put out there for people to test play or whatever. And I can't remember if that was like supposed to be some type of game that's supposed to be like a MMO, massive multiplayer online game. I don't remember, but I think it was something that is supposed to be community driven, if I'm not mistaken. If any of you guys know what I'm talking about, remember, let me know. But I'm wondering if that might show up in today's Nintendo Direct. I don't know. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm hoping to see. Predictions, whatever. Not sure if they're going to announce a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite Edition. That they might do something like that just to have that cheaper option that people will want. I don't know. They might do that. They might not. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you think we're going to see, what you're hoping to see, all that good stuff. What do you think about the things that I've said? Do you agree with me on the achievement system? Do you agree with me about them bringing back the Miiverse? That's something that we definitely need to see come back. I think the Miiverse would be so freaking cool. Hell, I would be so happy if they brought back the virtual console where you could just straight up buy these old classic games instead of just, only playing them on the membership or whatever on the NSO. I think it'd be cool to just outright have the option to just buy them. Anyways, you guys let me know, and I will talk to you all in the comments. Let's hope for this Direct to be really awesome.